No matter how hard you try, skeleton, ain't nothing getting between you and that door. Wait, what? What? Hello and welcome to Minecraft The Journey episode 64. Incredible, eh? 64. This is the Let's Play series where we've been upgrading a survival world of Minecraft all the way through the earliest versions, and we'll keep upgrading all the way through to the current modern release, which I suppose we'll get to one day. Whenever that is, I have no idea. But here we are in Minecraft Beta version 1.0_01, and I've been digging out this area in the last episode, and in between episodes I've dug out even more. The idea here is that we're going to flatten this area and make this pond, or swimming hole I guess, in the back, a bit more open and accessible to the giant lake here which the cows are currently enjoying. We're going to transform this area here, which we recently moved into after we upgraded to Minecraft Beta, and we're going to transform this into a kind of fishing village or something like that, I'm thinking. So I've been doing a bit of thinking on this. Down here, we're going to transform this into a bit of a beach that will connect this and this together. Up here behind this will be where all of the people who work in the fishing village will live. They'll live there up in the hills and all of that. And actually that border there, as we have explained in the last episode, is actually alpha terrain, and this is all beta terrain from this side onwards. Over here is going to be where all the main buildings are for the fishing town, so there'll be some docks over here and some other buildings going on in order to support the economy of the fishing village. And I'm going to live up here, I think. Up here somewhere where I can see everything going on. Yeah, got to have a good view, right? I'm the one here doing all of the work. There are no other human beings in the game except for me at the moment. But they'll be coming up in the future, we all know that. So I'm hoping in this episode we'll also be able to upgrade from Minecraft Beta 1.0 to Minecraft Beta 1.1 and see what changes are introduced in that version. For now, I might get started on tearing out all of this and turning it into a beach. Oh! What? Oh... Oh, get away, you! I hope it's only the two of you. Come on. What is this place? No! That took ages! Now we gotta fill it in. This is looking really, really cool now. I think as a reward for our hard work, we should upgrade. What do you say? We're now in Minecraft Beta 1.0.2, but I'm out here on the main menu because I wanted to point out a couple of things. First, you can see that we're in Minecraft Beta 1.0.2, but if you've been following along the version numbers like I have, then you'll know that traditionally the version numbers go 1.0 underscore something, like 1.0_01 or 1.0_02. And sure enough, the last version was 1.0_01. So this one should be 1.0_02, right? Yeah, strangely enough, this is the only version from around this time to divert from the norm and number itself in this way. The next series of versions that get minor updates like that go back to an underscore version number. So this is special in that right, I suppose. The second thing I wanted to point out over here was finally beta, and I hadn't shown this off previously, but around this time of the game, when Minecraft went beta in version 1.0, the tagline here always shows finally beta, even though there are a whole slew of random pieces of text that could pop up every time that you load the game in Minecraft beta. In early beta at least, you'll always see finally beta, and there is one version coming up where that changes. It might even be the next one, I'm not sure, but sometime soon that'll go back to being a random string. But let's go back into the game now. And as we can see, nothing has really changed because this was such a small upgrade. It fixed a problem where the game wasn't running on macOS, and really there were no other changes in this version. So I think that we might just now skip ahead up to Minecraft Beta 1.1. Well, I can tell you this is definitely Minecraft Beta 1.1, but what's going on with these menus? None of the fonts are working. Well, it turns out there was a problem with the fonts in this version of the game, and I want to log in and see if anything looks different. I mean, there's not going to be much to see. All of the rest of the game is going to work, but anywhere where there's text, such as tooltips or something like that, right? I want to see exactly what happens. So let's pop over here to the cubby hole, and we'll check inside one of the chests. Let's have a look inside. Oh, well, I'm noticing a couple of things. First, as I move my mouse around these cobble blocks, you can see that where it would normally say cobblestone, there's just a little black box. And the other thing is this chest should be full of stacks of cobblestone. And each one would normally say 64, but in this case, there's just nothing. So if I look in this chest here, yeah, it's exactly the same. The number on the stack is missing. So what is in a stack that I've got here? Definitely the dirt is stacked. So if I right click, yeah, I'm unloading the stack, as you can see, into my inventory, but definitely no counters. I'm also keen to see what happens if we need to go here. Let's see. Oh, this is very difficult. I want to make a sign so that we can type some text. I have no idea how many items of wood I've got. Obviously, I've just got enough. Okay, let's make a sign. And let's put it above the door outside, and we'll just say home sweet home. All right, so in theory, when we come back in a working version, that should say home sweet home. And also up here on the cart, there are some little tilde characters up here on these signs that are clearly not there. So that's all a bit of fun. I'm not sure where else there is text in the game at this point other than the main menus, and you can also see that the version number in the top left is missing. No, I can't think of any other area at the moment. Maybe something will come to me, but yes, I do. Yes, I do. I do know one area. It is the F3 debug screen, so let's take a look at that and see what it looks like. Normally that would just be full of text from left to right, and down the bottom you can see my frames counter telling me whether I've got any lag or not. That's the only thing showing, and I think that is the only thing you can get up in the F3 menu that isn't text in this version. So, how funny, how interesting. Interestingly, this version was put out at 12:45 UTC on December 22nd, 2010. Notch realized that he'd released a broken version, so he attempted to put out a new version with a hotfix in it just 10 minutes later at 12:55 UTC. So let's upgrade to that version and see if he's fixed the issue. Oh no, same issue. Let's go into the world and see what's going on. So why didn't Notch's hotfix work? Well, it turns out he just did the wrong thing. You see, inside the code, there's a file called font.txt, and this file, it looks like this. It contains all of the different characters that Minecraft is capable of displaying in its default font. The hotfix that Notch applied changed a line of code which references what this font file is called, or where it is stored in fact. So previously it was just referenced as font.txt, and in this hotfixed version he changed that one line of code with a leading slash, so it's now /font.txt, as if this hotfix would kind of fix the problem and make Minecraft suddenly find the file that it needed. But it turns out this wasn't the problem at all. The problem was that the font.txt file was missing from this jar file, and that is why none of the fonts get displayed. So once that was realized, Notch fixed that and applied it to the next version, beta 1.1_01. So I guess since this isn't very playable like this and there aren't really any other changes to explore, we might as well go and check that version out instead. It's working! Thankfully, it's working. So this version re-includes the font.txt file, and the only other change in this version compared to the last one is that it's now Minecraft beta 1.1_01. So let's jump back into the world. Here we are. Everything's looking good again. I've got stacked numbers on my dirt, and oh, that annoying bug with the... Oh. There's an annoying bug sometimes where your mouse just forces itself down onto the ground when you flick between menus and hit the escape key and things like that. Looks like we've got some font text up here. Looks like... Huh. That's interesting. We definitely typed something into that. So maybe no symbols were actually added to the sign, because when I was typing the words home sweet home, I was typing characters that weren't included in the font.txt file, so Minecraft disallowed them. That's interesting. That's not exactly what I expected to happen, but now that I can see this, it makes a lot more sense. Anyway, we're in version 1.1_01. One of the things that's changed in this version since the last version, or you know what I mean, the last proper version, is leaf decay. Leaf decay has been written again. It's been rewritten, I should say, again. So maybe things like this won't happen where we have a random island of leaves. It's turning nighttime now, so I'm just going to wait for the daytime, and then I'm going to find a tree, chop it down, and just see what happens. These two seem like a nice pair, so let's chop both of them down and see if we can observe any differences in the way that the leaf decay works. My suspicion is that it won't, although the leaf at the top of that tree already decayed straight away, so it does definitely look like it's working. Wow, it's fast. That is a heck of a lot faster than what it was doing previously. But I would describe that as leaf decay. What I'm looking for is evidence of any leaves that might be left behind for any reason. In fact, I'm curious to know if the ones on the ground will also decay. It's possible that they could. Maybe I'll find another tree that's got some leaves that are brushed up against the ground and see what happens. And here's the last leaf. Come on, last leaf. You're the last one to go. And 3, 2, 1, disappear. Just like that. Well, that definitely proves leaf decay's working. Let me find another one of these trees. I don't want a huge mess like this, but there must be something nearby. Ah, look at this one right here. Okay, it's a good combination of leaves on the ground and leaves in the air. So let's see what happens with this one. Here we're looking at some slightly sped up footage of the leaf decay, and what I'm looking for is what happens to those leaves on the ground. Just like that one there. So I'm worried about the art gallery now. At the art gallery, we used a technique where if a leaf block was touching a dirt block, it wouldn't decay, and that allowed us to have shrubs on the ground. And it looks like if we head out that way now, it's possible that those leaves might just disappear because they're not connected to a tree trunk. So that is quite concerning to me. I might have to take a world back up and go out that way and see what's going on. Here we are, art gallery portal. It's very noisy out there. The nether is just still full of ghasts. There are a lot more than that, believe me. They're everywhere. Anyway, let's head to the art gallery and see what the damage is. Let me know what you think's going to happen before we head through the portal, because my suspicion is that we're going to be hedgeless. But we might as well do it. Let's go and have a look. My fingers are crossed. Not that I think that makes any difference, but... Okay, let's see what happens to these hedges. Do you see anything happening? You know what? They seem to be intact. Maybe the reason that they're staying intact is because there are no block updates happening. Oh, I am so relieved. Look, even the impossible tree is still intact, unlike last time. I am so relieved. So I guess what we have to do now is just never touch any blocks in this area ever again. I'm going to walk on them. Everything seems to be good. I'm so relieved, so relieved. That is amazing. That's so good. I'm over on the other side of the lake because I wanted to get a bit of building done before the end of the episode completes. So what I was thinking is I want to build a fishing dock. As I said, we're going to build this area out to be a bit of a fishing village. So here on the edge of the lake, we're going to build a dock that goes out into the water with a bit of a pier or a jetty coming out on this side over here, going into the center of the lake so that you've got all of the access you need to the lake depending on what kind of fish that you want to catch. So I think we'll begin by chopping down this tree. And while we do this, I just wanted to mention that I'm now so close to 1,000 subscribers. I think it'll happen within the next few episodes, maybe before the end of the year. So if you're enjoying the series, enjoying the video, and you haven't subscribed to my channel yet, then please do. It'd really help me out and we'd reach that milestone even more quickly. I also wanted to mention that I will be opening a Patreon in the future, so that if you want to support me, you can. It's completely optional, and of course, you don't have to do it. It's just something that's there if you want to. I think it's great to give back to the community. I give back to the content creators that I support, and I just think it's a fantastic way of giving back and saying thanks to people who do put the time and effort in to putting these sorts of series together for you. But for now, let's finish up this build. Look at that, we've completed one reasonably sized dock. I think it looks rather good. I've got a couple, it's not so uniform, I've got a couple of little bits like here where we've got a little inlet, and over here a bit of a jetty so you can come out and do your fishing, like if you want to catch a skeleton swimming around in the lake or something like that. The other good thing about nighttime is I was building at nighttime because that's just what happens, you know, the sun sets and you can't control it, but it gives you an opportunity to have a look at your light levels. So I've created these lamp posts and just put them up around the place to give an extra level of lighting that basically early Minecraft needs because, yeah, it's just so dark. These I've had to add as well. For now, I might do something a little bit later just to keep the light levels up in this general area. And later I'll give this a little bit more life, maybe put some chests around and some other bits and pieces to give it a bit more of a sense that it's lived in. I've also put some ladders down the side here and also at this end here, just in case, you know, in case you fall in, you need to be able to get yourself back out, don't you? Otherwise, you're completely trapped in the middle of the lake. I also want to have a look at what this looks like from the other side, and before we finish up today's episode, there's something else that I want to look at too. From the other side now, it's starting to look good. It looks like the place is a bit more lived in over there, which is good. And when it's got some buildings and other things behind it, I think it'll come together quite well. I might extend it out to about where that tree is, I think, just to give it a bit more length than depth. Now, I need to head in here to the hidey hole and get out a few items just before we finish up today. Now, in early Minecraft, there's only one tree type, so it makes sense that all we would see when we hover over this is sapling, wood, wooden planks, wooden stairs, and the fence. There are no other varieties of these items, so it just makes sense to call them that. Now, of course, over here we have the workbench. Historically, it was called the workbench, and in the future, we know that it gets renamed to the crafting bench. The crafting table. But it's interesting to see it displayed here as the workbench. Down here we have a mob drop. Now, I've covered this before, but I had no way of showing that it was actually called sulfur. These days we call it gunpowder, it makes rockets and TNT, but back in the early days, here's the proof, it was definitely called sulfur. One more is this one. This is called reeds. When this was introduced, it was added as reeds, and later it becomes sugarcane. Here we have the game's two beautiful flowers. The first one is called the rose, and the second one is called flower. I didn't expect that. And of course, at the bottom here, just one more, we have the pumpkin. These are both pumpkins, but if we turn this pumpkin into a jack-o'-lantern, what we know about this so far is that we don't get the more modern jack-o'-lantern texture with the lit up face. We only get the same texture as a pumpkin. But we also get a pumpkin tooltip. That's unusual. And if we put the pumpkin down here, which is actually a jack-o'-lantern, and put the pumpkin that isn't a jack-o'-lantern next to it, these are actually different items and they don't stack. So there's no way of knowing which one's a jack-o'-lantern and which one's a pumpkin. In fact, I've just messed them all up here and now you don't know which one's which. This is like the classic shell game, isn't it? The only way I think we're going to know now is if we put them down on the ground, we can definitely see which one's which. But that is the end of today's episode. I want to thank you all for watching. If you've enjoyed yourself, then do the usual stuff. Leave me a comment and a like and subscribe if you haven't already. And I will see you in the next episode. But until then, this has been bugmancx. You've been watching Minecraft The Journey. Bye-bye.